Hello everyone and welcome back to DC Creation. Today I would like to interrupt the 2021 crime thriller movie, The Girl in the Basement. The film opens with a teenage girl named Mary having trouble breathing, being hugged by a woman in the back seat of a car. He was then taken to the hospital by a driver. After arriving at the hospital, the man admitted the girl and warned her don't talk. Next we see a family eating at the table. Don and his wife, Renee, are raising two daughters, Amy and Sarah. Sarah is a rebel and comes over to dance around the campfire with her motorcycle-riding boyfriend. His name is Chris and he also plays guitar. He sang a song to Sarah and told her he loved her. When Sarah came home the next morning, Don was angry and yelled at his daughter. He said he would follow his rules as long as he lived in his house. Sarah plans to go out on her own when she turns 18 with Amy and Renee. He heard without speaking and took refuge in the basement. He intended to lock up his daughter so she couldn't leave him. While Renee is shopping, Don asks Sarah to help him move things downstairs. Then turn it off and isolate the sound from the room. She was actually trapped in a bunker with no way out. Bin full of clothes. We have a daily counter. This is the first day of many, and more. Sarah lives like a caged animal. Tried the keyboard 3 times before turning off the airflow. Sarah uses the potty to urinate and takes every opportunity to scream for help and fight for her freedom. Don tells her that she will win the franchise and that she will be punished for her actions. Then he raped his daughter. Renee thought her daughter had run away and called the police. Don and Renee talk to the police, who think Sarah is running away because she's 18 and there's nothing they can do about it. Ironically, Chris appears to ask Don where Sarah is. Don lied that she ran off with another man named Stevie. Day 21, Don came down, dressed Sarah in a red dress, gave her a birthday cake and asked her what she wanted. She said she wanted to be released, and he said it was still early. Then she asked for a TV and he asked her to win it. Then he asked for an hour. He agrees and asks her to come over. You might get raped again. Day 38, the next time he comes down, be prepared to attack him with a makeshift weapon. The lid of the carved beef jar is attached to the wood. But he easily dodged the attack and hit her, possibly violating her. Fast forward from day 39 to day 35, Sarah is pregnant with her father or sister's child. She gave birth without medical help or proper medical hygiene. She uses a breastfeeding book to prepare her baby. The girl's name was Maria. For years later, Sarah is raising her daughter, who is pregnant again. They were all locked in the basement, only each other. Sarah seemed calm, talked to Don and offered him tea when he visited. Tang was promoted and said he was going to a new office. Also provide him with some basic necessities such as a table, wardrobe, mattress, etc. Sarah asked him if he could let them go, and he got angry about it. But then, he gave them a TV as a Christmas present. Daughter Mary looked sick and gave Don the pills, but Sarah said they weren't for children and she didn't know what the dosage was. Mary was sent to the doctor, but without leaving. Still searching for Sarah, Amy shares the lies she heard from Don about Sarah running off with Stevie. Amy admits that her father abused her mother and believes what Don did to her sister. He then confronts Don and accuses him of doing something. Renee wants to meet a private investigator, which she asks Don. They argue, and without the key he falls into the basement. Amy picks them up and dives down, only to be caught by the aggressive Don. Sarah has her third child, a boy named Thomas, and convinces Don to leave the boy at the door with her note asking him to take care of her newborn. Don leaves the boy for Renee to find. He found a small note that Sarah had left asking her mother to call the police when she was trapped downstairs. 1 year. The children, Mary and Michael, grow up. They've been locked in a basement their whole lives and suffer from social anxiety as a result. They don't understand how dire the situation is. 17 years in the basement cell, they found a leak in the ceiling and began digging with a spoon. Meanwhile, Renee spends time with her grandson Thomas. Sarah had been digging all night. She was pregnant again. The pit leads to the front yard and he lights a light for his neighbors to help him. When a neighbor walked to the front door to tell Don, he ran down the stairs and hit his pregnant daughter, causing her to miscarry. In captivity for 18 years, Don told Sarah that another son of his lived above her. His name was Thomas. He used Thomas to turn Mary and Michael against their mother. They asked for her freedom, which Sarah could not accept. He panicked and fell to the ground crying. She thought about her boyfriend Christopher and his love for her. Sarah tells her children the truth about Don. Children are naturally tired. Mary suffers from asthma and finds it difficult to breathe due to the lack of air in the basement. 19. Don came down to argue with Sarah about food rationing. Age 20. Mary has trouble breathing and has had a severe asthma attack that requires medical attention. Sarah begged without him to take them to the hospital, even calling him Dad. Take them to the emergency room. This is the scene we see at the beginning of the film. The doctors fight to save Mary. Elizabeth Rome plays a concerned doctor who asks about Mary's medical history. Sarah asked to go to the bathroom, and he refused without letting her go. Sarah told the doctor everything. Tang was arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment. Renee is horrified to learn that her daughter was murdered by her husband in her home. The family moves together. Moto Chris shows up and takes Sarah for a ride. They discuss their plans for the teenagers in the future and Chris apologizes for not making an effort to find Sarah. Then they go for a walk together.